Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Jade Cocoon. I'm your host CPC Gamer, and I have a confession to make. I was going to cash in all the minions that I caught on the way to the temple here, and I was going to make myself a brand new team. And I was going to do a little advert as well, like Team 2.0, it's way more hype than what I had before. But I can't. I tried every combination of every minion, and nothing is stronger than the team I've had since the very start of the game. I may still do it, but I'm going to have to come up with something really good if I want to outclass the guys that I brought with me. Anyway, in our last episode, we were tasked with finding 4 sacred gemstones, and then we immediately received one of them. And one of the remaining 3 is somewhere in here, which looks remarkably like somebody ran the beetle forest through a red filter in Photoshop. Try not to think about that one too much, because here is Swav, who, looking at him, is basically Hydreigon from Pokemon, which is a name that I only know because that's one of 2 Pokemon families that count their name. Dino, Zweilius, Hydreigon. And you guys get some bonus points for naming the other one. In any case, here is the new look Lynod Frost. He has the Attack All variant of the water magic, and his special attack has received a plus power modifier, courtesy of that dog minion we found in the Moth Forest. Which, incidentally, is where he got this brand new coat of paint. He is also a little bit faster, and apparently invincible. How did a critical strike do so little damage? What? What are you? Anyway, as always, I intend to catch the first few guys that I find in the forests, just to see if they have any interesting components. Although, in this case I already know that he does. Like, whatever his plus critical is linked to, I think that Crowley can have it. And thinking about it, this game's name is Swav. Isn't that the name of an old video game franchise? Like, I know that the CPC has one of those titles. Swiv! Swiv is the one game that I'm thinking of. It's a fun little game. You could play as either a helicopter or a jeep, and like the helicopter could skip terrain hazards but only shoot forwards, and if you picked a jeep, then you could just go back to the main menu and pick the helicopter this time, because, what are you, stupid? Now, excuse me if I don't pick another topic just yet, because there should be another guy right here. Now, in the last episode, I mentioned how the game's budget ran out before we got here. You can kind of see how true that is by the fact that we're just in the Beetle Forest again, right down to the same minion spawn points. With that said, the game does find a way to make it thematically appropriate, and I appreciate that. And there are some really cool minions out here for you to find. And the upcoming boss design is fantastic. Oh hey, the canopy's open already. I wonder if that's because I opened it up in the standard Beetle Forest. Putting on my developer's hat once again, I suspect they use the same flags for both forests. Possibly because they just copied the data from the original forest before reskinning it and changing the minions. Oh hey! Hi, how's it going? I didn't see you there. Putting on my logical hat, they didn't want to pay to animate the backdrop twice. My logical hat is kind of boring. Which is weird, because it's this really tall velvet top hat with like superfluous cogs and wings and tea-making facilities, surprisingly enough. You know, I actually passed by a guy in a steampunk top hat the other day. Just on my way to work, some guy coming home from college has a purple velvet topper. It was great. Ooh, and for the look of that animation, that guy just drained my health. I want some of that for Lynod. I don't know how good it will be necessarily, but there's no way to properly tell because he's at the type disadvantage right now, but it's still going to be a fun trick to have. I mean, you may recall that the Lifestealer sword helped immensely at the start of the Spider Forest when I was getting my ass kicked by those giant trees. And that's not a sentence that I ever thought I would say in my life. But here we are playing video games for the internet, and I come out with all kinds of crazy nonsense. And I think we might be at a stalemate here. Oh wait, no we're not, because I replaced the Life Stealer with the Night Glow. Thank goodness for that. I hate draining races. Like, one time I was playing through Pokemon Red, I ended up with two Odysseys fighting one another, and because it was a low-level fight, we only had Absorb, so me and the AI were just chipping off 1 HP at a time, and oh my good god, it was the most boring thing ever. Like, if ever a Pokemon game needed a forfeit button, that was it. Alright, do I get you? Nice! You will probably see some of that guy's material in Lynod when we head back to the temple. We'll probably see a lot of new material based on the guys we're catching here, and they're... Whoa! What a boost! Anyhow, I imagine this is going to mark the beginning of, like, the awkward adolescent phase of our team. Lots of new clothes, new skills, the occasional new body part. And you know what? That's fine. Because this is who I am now. You don't even know. Shut up. Although why we're hitting adolescence in the third act, I don't know, but I guess we're just late bloomers. This is an awkward avenue for this conversation, so this conversation is over! Hey Trish, how's it going? I like how you have changed the least out of our team. The other three have had different bodies and skins, while you are a dinosaur tank that is obstinately refusing to change. And I'm gonna catch this guy, by the way. Most likely merging with the last guy I caught to make him stronger, and use that to boost Lynod. I mean, this guy also has the vampirism trick, so we'll be okay. And man, I love this sword. But usually I don't go for status elements in this or any other monster combat game. It seems like too big a risk for too small a reward. But given that this thing is pretty much guaranteed to poison, that is amazing. It kind of makes you wonder how I forgot that I was using it. It probably forced a habit. Between each video, I've been doing a bit of leveling, both for my monsters and myself, and I kept using the Life Stealer because it negated whatever damage the enemy was doing, and it made it a lot easier to catch these guys. Again, the Night Glow is a good sword because it encourages teamwork. I mean, specifically between Levant and the guys, rather than solely between the minions. Again, I set them up, they knock them down, it's that kind of thing. Now, I actually looked it up online before this video. It turns out there's a whole slew of weapons, armor, and accessories that you only get as random drops from the enemies. And they all have some kind of, like, special added effect. And with that guy gone, I'm going to open this chest. But yeah, special weapon-wise, there's one weapon that puts the enemies to sleep, one of them only drains mana, there's one that always hits for critical damage. Oh, and hang on, we'll carry on this thought in just a bit. The game has some very special armor as well. One of them means Levant can't get hit by physical attacks. There are some that pretend to status elements and all that. But they are all random drops. And some of them from specific families. Some of them from individual monsters. It's ludicrously hard to get them all. Also, I'm just going to leave that guy for now. You know what they say about sleeping dogs and all that. Although that guy was less of a sleeping dog and more of a sleeping fire-type dead mouse-looking jackal thing. You know what's sad? I was so busy talking to you guys that I completely failed to see the monster that I plowed right into. Like, way back at the start of the LP, I said how this game doesn't have random encounters. Not paying attention to the game is about the closest you're gonna get. So yeah, let's give Trisha a little nip of hooch and continue onwards. Random encounters often cause me to turn to drink. It's why I've been putting off playing so many other RPGs in my downtime. Like, I honestly don't care what you guys say. Final Fantasy VIII was kinda okay, and I might want to play it again. And I guess we're gonna be fighting one of these guys sooner than we thought. Dandy! Aww. See, I can't be mad at that guy. He's got his tongue hanging out, and he looks like he's just super happy to be here. And he has a good color scheme. You don't see pink, red, yellow very often, but there it is. So let's see what you're made of, Heartdrag? Yours is not a name that flows off the tongue particularly well. I know I'm at an advantage because my guys use actual people names, but that's not a particularly good name. And I think that, like, one advantage that Pokemon has over this game, for example, and Monster Rancher as well, which I also played around the same time as Jade Cocoon, Pokemon have really good names. Even the ones that are just 2 words mashed together or basic descriptions what you're seeing, they're really good. Like Voltorb is a very good example. Or Snorlax. He's my favorite. And I immediately see another one of those red guys in the background. Actually, it's the one outside the ruins exit that I said I wasn't going to bother before. But I have now changed my mind, so let's go and bother him. Very slowly and methodically. You don't want to run, or else you'll wake him up and lose your initiative. So, let's fight this guy. Except, maybe let's actually do it properly this time, in such a way that I am able to catch him at the end. Like, it was nice to get a level for Bodkin and all that, but the only way we have for our minions to learn new attacks is by merging them with other minions, and we kind of need some new parts for Crowley. Oh yeah, Lionheart got a level and thus boosted stats, which means it's easier to KO the enemy. Whoops! That was an impressive chunk of EXP for someone who only just gained a level. You see what I mean about the weird, wavy difficulty curve in this game? Although with that said, we're coming up on one of the difficulty spikes. I've said if I remember rightly a lot in these videos, so I'll try that again. For as much as I've said if I remember rightly, we're coming up on a bit that I do remember rightly. All too well, in fact. The boss at the end of this forest will kick your ass. And I think I see one of those dog things over here, so I'm gonna go and fight him. Maybe see if I can actually pull my punches this time and capture it. Although, are you fire? No, you're not. Well then forget you, because I'm going this way. The first time I went through the beetle forest, I made a left through the ruins, so this time we're making a right through the... Well, it's still a forest, but it's somehow different from the rest of the forest in which we presently find ourselves. When I first went through the beetle forest, I talked at length about a supposed boss fight that was meant to happen, but didn't. I looked it up, and there is a sub-boss in the beetle forest, but you need to take the right path before you take the left one through the ruins. And the fight is pretty much impossible to lose unless you try and throw it. It's a fight against a masked boy who says he needs to test your skills as a cocoon master, and turns out it's Louis in disguise. I wasn't expecting 2 of you at once. But that's fine. I've certainly had worse fights. I don't think any fight is going to be quite as bad as that weird 3 enemy encounter in the spider forest. So let's tag in Lionheart. At the very least we can beat up that mantis guy a bit before getting to the serious business. No, actually... Yeah, let's use Valis. It's the one that hits every enemy. I wonder why the magic's called Vali, when the items you find are called Vari. Possibly because L's and R's are notoriously interchangeable outside of the English language. But there's only one other example of translation witchcraft that I know of in this game. In Japan, Mabu is called Mavu. They just translated it as best they can. And I think it's to the best, because, like, to me, Mabu sounds like the name of an Indian maiden, while Mavu sounds like a Star Wars figure, who was only named so they could put something on the side of his action figure packet. And guess who's making a surprise run-in? Oh yes, it's Tale of Nobody, back in the party! But this time he has a snake skin. He was entirely inexplicably waiting for us at the temple at the end of the moth forest, so... What the heck, I'm not gonna complain. Now, sending out Nobody is not a silly move as you might think. The enemy minion used a spell to boost the power of wind attacks, but that still works in my favour. If I can actually land the hit on this guy, which is looking unlikely, so... yeah, doubly so if he's going to get 2 turns as a follow-up to his regular attack. And that is surprising, because nobody is still the fastest guy on my team by far. I know I'm out level, but it shouldn't be that bad. Alright, drastic measures will need to be taken. By which I mean Levant's taking control, because that never happens. If I can poison this guy, it will slow him down enough to... oh. Man, this sword has been so good to me so far. Why do you let me down now I need you? There you go! Thank you, Nightglow. You are one of the best things in this game. And you went and nudged him into the red. It's pretty great. Right. See if we can catch this guy. I want to siphon some of that speed into nobody. Like, see if I can make him faster yet. And I've not had any trouble catching stuff lately. And this guy's poisoned, so... I think this one's in the bag. Yes! Awesome times. I know that I only just reskinned nobody, but we're probably going to redo it again at the end of this video. And you know what's sad? I got so into that fight and focusing on the wind minion, I totally forgot that Lionheart killed someone at the start of the fight. So let's patch up our guys, and keep going. Oh yeah, I'm about to be ambushed, aren't I? Let's see what's in here. Oh, it's a key. I got a cool spear last time. Alright, now that is more like it. 1 minion, easy type advantage, and I got a level for it. You know, I had a little trouble with that one guy, but I think I'm doing way better this time through the forest than my first time. I mean, measurably so. I got to the end in one go this time. Although, since I did have some trouble, I'm not going to go to the end of the forest right now. I'm going to head back, reorganize my team, maybe do a little bit of grinding, and I'm also going to explore the ruins on the left-hand side of the forest. So, yeah, join us next time for some ruins exploration, and until next time, goodbye. Well, of course, this thing doesn't work. Alright, let's take the easy way out. See you, everybody.